Depends. I tweeted this out that basically we need to come up with a standard alternative to AMP or standard enforcement mechanism that will enable to get AMP's benefits and reliability benefits without enforcing their framework. And I talked to Chrome folks about it, the AMP team about it, and the CST model kept coming up. And the name content performance policy floated around, initially proposed by the AMP folks. And eventually I wrote a thing. I wrote a proposal called content performance policy, which included many directives that a developer can declare and the browser will enforce. Some of them are more enforceable than others. But it basically enables you to declare your site to be performance as it doesn't do X for some value of X, where X is a known performance kryptonite. And in order for any such declaration to have any meaning, it meant that the browser has to be the enforcer here. If a site was using some feature that it declared it won't, that feature had to break, and that part of the content had to break in order for that policy to have any meaning. And we had a good conversations with the Chrome team and the AMP team about these. And another meeting enabled us to crystallize that and basically break this large proposal into 4 smaller ones, or future 4 smaller ones. The first part is about limiting harmful web platform features that arguably shouldn't have been part of the platform in the first place, but they are, and people are using them, but we need to be able to stop. These are features that are causing the browser to halt, interrupt the user experience, or doing a mix of both. And developers in general can make sure that they are not using any of their features in that code, but they have very hard time ensuring that other people that are contributing code to their websites aren't using them, aren't doing the same, and hurting the user experience as a result. And the other people in this scenario can also be that other team, where you know who I'm talking about. They just don't care as much as you do. And since websites are built from multiple teams, each one with a different set of skills and different views regarding performance, you could run into a situation where the main content is not using any of these harmful features, but other teams are using it. So basically, you could try to get rid of that using some build system, but an enforcement mechanism that forces content to break whenever harmful features are used can be helpful for both enforcing it on third parties and on other internal teams. The features that we're talking about when saying harmful features is synchronous scripts, which are blocking the parser and forcing a significant delay as a result. The preloader enables us to get rid of some of that damage, but not all of it. So they should be discouraged, and you can have that directive gives you a mechanism to do that. synchronous XHR, which is blocking the UI thread and is often used as a hack in analytics script and shouldn't be used since you nowadays have the Beacon API. Document write, which is one of web's awful features that keep getting abused by ads. Model windows, mainly alert, should be discouraged both as UX awful UX as well as the fact that they halt the UI thread. Plugins, don't need to expand on that, and avoiding the creation of auxiliary browsing context. So not all third parties should be allowed to open new pages or new tabs. Some of them should, but you should be able to control which ones are allowed and which ones aren't. Basically, the mechanism as we see it now is that you have a policy that is applied to the top level document and inherited by all iframes. And the top level document can further restrict certain iframes from, can basically enable more restrictions on certain iframes than others. And they're similar to CSP. There will be a reporting mode where this can be tested before actually flipping the switch and breaking actual content for violations. The next part of the CPP proposal that needs tackling and doesn't have a concrete proposal yet is resource size limits. Basically, we want to avoid third parties from abusing the user's data plans, as we've seen that they do, and want to be able to tell the browser to stop downloading once a certain download cap has been met. Like I said, we don't have a concrete proposal, but it will probably look like something where there is a total cap for the entire site for all resource sizes, and then further limits for specific resource types and for specific iframes, as well as a reporting mechanism, which will probably use the same plumbing. And the third part is guaranteeing CPU and bandwidth priority. Your content is most probably more important than a third-party content, and also between third-party contents, some may be more important than others. So we want to be able to tell the browser which ones to prioritize, both in terms of CPU allocation as well as bandwidth. So in order to prevent bandwidth contention over the network, in order to prevent the performance impact of third parties, if everyone are downloading content, your content should get there first. And Elliot Gregoric from Google proposed something he called key group for the web. I'm not sure this is exactly how this policy would look like, but the main functionality is that being able to tell the browser that a certain resource belongs to a certain group, or being able to tell the browser that a certain resource should get a certain priority, and therefore be downloaded accordingly and get the CPU that it needs accordingly. And the fourth group that is basically still kind of mystery as to how we resolve this is the user experience part. So the CPP proposal included some user experience related directives, but not all of them are completely enforceable in a non-fuzzy way. So in a way that can be standardized and implemented across browsers. So this is still something we need to put some thought into and see how we get there, how we provide user experience benefits using similar mechanisms. And the part that is missing in action is privacy. Basically, the part that that DNT, the Do Not Track, tried to tackle is the part that it still remains unsolved because it's not something that the browser can enforce. Tracking is done on the server side, so it's a whole different problem. I would claim a legal problem, but no one has. Yeah, the browser has no visibility into what the server is doing. So, to conclude, what would such policies enable? How would they fix the ecosystem? They will bring back control to site owners, so you would be able to control third parties beyond just including them or not. And you would then have control over your user's experience. Embedders can define their own criteria, can create their own fluid AMP like visibility and search ranking benefits so that faster content can get better rankings in their book and get more traffic from them. Ad blockers could get smarter and start blocking slow ads and slow third parties rather than just blocking all of them wholesale based on some host name or some regex. And maybe even some browsers could bake such ad blockers natively. Who knows? And eventually, hopefully, the goal is happier users, faster websites.
Thanks, Yoav. And you're going to be around later if people have questions or suggestions or whatever. Okay. So.